Hi, Smarter Markets is back at Boca 50 with the FIA, and have the great pleasure of being joined by Ryan Moroney, CEO of CQG.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us,
me.
Ryan.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Fantastic. You know, because it is the 50th anniversary of Boca, we've been starting off by asking everyone how long they've been coming for. Some it's their first year, some it's 15, 20 years. How long have you been coming down to Boca?
I'd guess like maybe 7 to 10, somewhere in that range. But it's funny. I've been asking this whole time if anybody's only been here one, like first year. I found 5 people. There's 1,000 people here. I found 5.
That's awesome. And well, like the ones who come were any particular pattern amongst the newer part of the crowd?
Well, 3 were from the same company. They're kind of new entrants. And then there were a couple of people that it's like which is what I was hoping to see. It's like the younger guy that's 25 and he's just, finally arrived at the place in this firm where he gets invited to come to Boca, which is good because I started coming here when I was like 25 and you want to see, I guess, I don't know, somewhere in that range. But yeah, you want to see like the younger guys coming up. And so I was curious to see are like new blood coming in or is it just kind of all of us coming down here that are...
Absolutely. And what brings you back every year? What do you look forward to with the conference?
This is one of my very favorite events of the year because a lot of the people that I'll meet with, you see them all year. You see them in Chicago, New York, and London, and you're on the phone with them. But then you come here and you're all staying at the same hotel, and there's just this like dedicated time to have meetings. And some of like the most strategic meetings we'll have the whole year will happen here. And we'll all fly back and like see each other again in a different city. But there's something magical about being in Boca, and I feel like as our firm, we really benefit from this time. Yeah.
And I know often people spend more time in the meetings than in the conference proper. Any certain topics of discussion that you found have been really interesting and engaging this year?
Well, so I haven't been in any of the presentations. It's just been meetings with clients. But it's very much like partnership focused, and I think it's like kind of emblematic of our industry and Boca 50 years and all that. It's if you rewind back 20, 30 years, most of the people are in our industry were in the room together. Like that's where they did business, and so you did business through some level of cooperation and trust, and that value still exists in our industry. And I found that for whatever reason, when people come down to Boca, that like comes back, and it's all like, how do we work together? What are the ways we could partner together? And so I think that's the common theme is it's just kind of very exploratory, but then real things do come out of this. Yeah,
that's great. And of course, CQG is very involved in the technology end of the markets. Curious what you're seeing clients asking you for as the markets move forward.
Yeah. So we're a 45-year-old tech company. I don't know how many 45-year-old tech companies are out there, but yeah, we're a 45-year-old technology company. We've gone through a lot of kind of iterations along that time. What I hear the most from people, over that time, CQG's kind of changed from a company that built trading software, and we were known for charting and analytics and data. And I think we've changed in terms of who we are as a company. And I think the thing that people are asking us for and they expect from us, and I think it's an honor actually for us to play this role, but we've kind of been put in this situation where we're this kind of central hub where most market participants come to interact with each other. So whether you're an FCM and a broker, the exchanges, other ISVs, trading firms, oftentimes they're coming to us not just because they want to use our software, but because it's a way to get to the other participants in that ecosystem. And so it seems like most of my conversations are around that. How do we work with CQG and the other firms that CQG works with to create kind of a more healthy ecosystem?
And I'm curious on the ecosystem point, right? Because you have so much new technology coming in, whether it's AI or others. And how do you get the whole ecosystem moving forward? Because they got to stay connected, but how do you help everybody progress?
Yeah. So there's probably like the less fun part and then the really fun part. The less fun part is everything has to work always. The ecosystem has to be up. So we spend a really significant amount of our development time just building in stability and resiliency and making sure that CQG as an ecosystem stays there. So that's a big expectation of us. The fun thing is then when you get there, what can we do once we're here, right? And so there's certainly, if you're a new ISV that's connecting into us. Maybe it's because you want to get to these new markets or these new brokers. And there's that part of it. But then there's also what can we build so that when you're here, we can help that company become more successful. This gets into like the artificial intelligence stuff, which we are investing quite a bit of time in. Some of it, again, is just making sure that CQG is resilient, but much more of it's about once you're here, what are the sorts of features and tools, again, not from trading software, but from actually like back-end infrastructural services can we give you to be successful? Yeah.
It's great. And, when you look at the new products that customers want your help connecting with, are there certain new products or new asset classes that are of great interest right now?
Well, the retail market's coming very quickly into our space. And you see, the announcement recently, we actually partnered with Robinhood to bring futures onto their platform and their 25 million users. I mean, retail is coming and they're coming for these really small size, right? And so it's these micro contracts, these nano contracts. So we're certainly seeing demand for that. I think there's demand partially in our industry as a whole because like the futures market has this reputation as a place to transfer risk. And that starts, the commercial hedgers look at it that way, but the retail guys actually look at it this way too. It's a way for us to trade off hours when the markets are volatile. And so I think like our industry's place as like a risk transfer still exists. And even people that are not hedging, but the speculative people, the retail people. So the reason I bring that up is the world just feels like it is full of uncertainty. There's geopolitical events happening all the time. I mean, it's enough so that like a major geopolitical event happens and the markets don't even move now, right? And so I think that like overall global uncertainty just like somehow drives people to our industry. And so there's a lot of actually new entrants. It's not just somebody that's like, I was trading gold and I want to trade something else. There's a lot of new entrants into our market overall.
Right. And as you said, there's an increased demand also for more of the kind of round the clock off hours trading. A lot of the talk in the panels has been about moving to 24/7, 24/5 trading. What kind of load does that put? Like, how do you address that when, as you said, like you have to always be on, you have to always be reliable?
Yeah. For us, the challenge, so generally speaking, CQG as a system is up, right? We don't have to take it down. So we operate as a 24/5 market as it is because we connect exchanges all around the world. The challenge for us is there's a point in time on a Friday where it ends and it starts again on a Sunday. And during that time, we can do all of our maintenance for the week, right? So bring systems down, bring them up. And so probably 4 or 5 years ago, you can see the 24/7 train come in. And so you have to start thinking about what do we need to be doing differently. And there's challenges around staffing and whatever else, but that's all solvable. The real challenge is how does everybody roll and upgrade their software without ever having it go down? And so you have like a totally different upgrade architecture than probably what most people have. And so what we did is we set ourselves actually annual targets for what our maintenance window can be in a quarter. So we don't do regular updates, but at the end of a quarter, if we do like a big upgrade, it was this many hours. A year later, we need it to be here, and then here, and then here. We're working our way there so that when the market's ready, we have to be ready. I think it's going to be challenging because we've spent a lot of time on this over the years. I don't know that everybody has.
Yeah, I think some of the exchanges might be coming to you for some advice. Just last, I know you want to get back to your meetings, but as you look forward the next couple years, what's the fun stuff or the really meaty projects that you're looking forward to working on?
Yeah, the artificial intelligence stuff's interesting. So CQG is kind of like the godfather of charting, right? And charting was really taking historical data and using it to try to say, what do we think is going to happen next? What's the trend in the market? Whatever that might be. And so I think taking that idea, we've started working on some really cool predictive analytics, but on a much shorter time frame. So not, what's the data over the last hour or year, but what is it over the last like very short period of time? And can you use that in the same way to predict like what's going to happen next? And so we've been investing in some things around artificial intelligence for predictive analytics and what's going to happen next in the market, trying to then use those things to enrich our tools just to kind of make our customers, again, a little bit more successful. So that is definitely for our industry. I think everybody's trying to figure out what is their AI strategy. I feel like we believe if we really are going to be this kind of central party that everybody's pushing us to be, where they all want to come together and do business, I think our approach is going to be solve a couple of use cases like this, like the predictive analytics, like what's going to happen next in the market use case, to test this underlying kind of functionality that we want to build, like almost like a layer that people can build their own AI strategies on top of, because there's a lot of really hard work on the technology side just to make artificial intelligence work for our industry. And the reason for that is all the tooling that's out there. I'll give you an example. George Washington's president, that's as true today as it was yesterday, as it was 10 years ago, right? Data does, like the relevancy of data doesn't decay, except in our industry it does, because a trade that happened an hour ago means much less than a trade that happened a second ago. So there's this like decaying value of data over time that makes all of the AI tooling that exists out there in the overall world a little bit harder to use. And so to take that and adapt it for the financial world, and then give people ways they can build on that so they don't have to do that first hard work, I think that's an area where we can kind of add value to the ecosystem without necessarily building a product for people. So that's where we're spending our time right now.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing with us. It was really great to meet you, Ryan.
Yeah, likewise.
Appreciate your time.
All right, thanks.